I started playing football at a young age because I had 5 brothers and we all used to kick the footy around West Geelong and lived in Waratah Street, and consequently ended up at the old Gwfc, which is Geelong West Cricket and Football Club in Bakers Oval in Shannon Avenue. And under 15 footy and then under 18 football, and from there I progressed down to got invited down to train with the Geelong under 19 football side in 1970. We had a successful year, ended up playing off in a grand final. Unluckily we were defeated by Richmond, but that uncovered a significant player for the Geelong Football Club. That period was David Clark, played the last 3 games to qualify and kicked something like 23 or 24 goals in 3 games. So he went on next year to prove that he wasn't just a flash in the pan, and kicked, I think, won the best and fairest in the seniors the next year. From there I went back to my old club, Gwfc, because I was told that at that stage I was too old to play again in the under-19s. Frank Pike was the coach, and he came back to me then about a month later and said, no, you're not too old, they've altered the rules. But I decided to stay where I was at Gwfc, and I was glad I did in the long run, because we went on and had a really good year. Won the best and fairest, we won the grand final, we won the best and fairest in the Evelynhurst Cup, the Jarman Cup, which was the reserves, and my younger brother Ross won the best and fairest in the under-18 competition, and I won the best and fairest in the senior competition, which is now called the Matheson Medal, but then it was the Geelong and District Football League. Because of that, I got invited back down to Geelong to do pre-season training the next year, and I accepted that and spent the next, from 72 until 75 at Geelong. In 1973 I had a cartilage removed from my left knee, and that held me back a little bit, but by the time pre-season started again the next year, in those days Geelong Football Club used to train out at Warren Ponds on the old university grounds, and we'd have the practice matches just mainly intra-club. And I played a game early in the day, and as it turned out, Tony Gilmore, who was a fantastic player and consequently played a lot of football with him later on, he was lined up to play in the senior practice match that day, but Bill Goggin had come over to coach in the VFA, and he was enticing quite a few players across, and Tony decided he was going to go, and he didn't turn up this day for the main practice match. And I played the early game, and they took me off early and said, you can fill in a spot in the next game. And they weren't sort of planning on me being anything, but as it turned out, I played on 2 senior rovers and did quite well, and I got a game the next week in the main practice match, and consequently I think that was my opportunity that was presented to me to actually get on the senior list and consequently go on and play 14 senior games. At the end of 1975, during the pre-season, Geelong said to me that I was no longer required. We did all the pre-season, and Terry Callan came out on the ground on the last training night before the jumper presentation and said, we don't think you can go any further, so we're not going to persevere. I was pretty upset at the time, but walked away, and Tom Calder, who had been a lifetime family friend, he was over at the VFA at the time and invited me to come across there and have a run. I did that after about 3 weeks, and Howard Smith was then coach, because Billy had moved on, and because they'd won the premiership the year before, he'd been moved on up to Footscray and took up a coaching position there. And Howard Smith was coaching here at West, and we had a good year, and we still had a very good side, because a lot of the players were all of a similar background, had either been down Geelong, and I'd played with them previously. And I think looking back now, the years from 76 to 79, where I played in the VFA, was the most enjoyable football that I played. Whether it be the 16-man aside, I'm not 100% sure on that. I think it was just the group of players that were all sort of put together were all the similar type that enjoyed socialising, but when it came to actually playing football, we knew how to back each other up. At the end of 79, I then got enticed back to, or I decided I was going to go back to my old club, Blue West, and I had three other brothers that were playing football at the time, and I hadn't spent much time playing with them at senior level, and I really wanted to do that. So I went back there and played until the end of '85. I coached in '84. I won 5 best and fairest over there, and then at that stage I was at age 33. I thought I would be time to pull up the boots, but they were being relegated to Geelong and District Football League, and I didn't wish to go down and play at that time. It was a vastly different league to what it is these days. I had an association with Drysdale because a couple of my brothers had played down there, and I thought I might go and play at the Ballerina in just a couple of years. Well, a couple of years ended up being another 5 or 6 years, and it was in 1992 that I decided, yes, I definitely had enough. Over my whole football career, I think the most enjoyable thing I got out of it was just the camaraderie and the friendships that I've made, which still remain even to this day. And I've known when I've walked back into the club rooms over here at the Geelong West ground that you only have to spend a couple of minutes with a teammate that you hadn't seen for a long time, and you're back to the way it was years ago. But that's an overall viewpoint of my football, and I finished when I was 40 years of age, which I think was enough. My main position on the ground that I played early days was wing and half forward ruck rover, and then as I got into senior football, I played a lot in the centre. I found that because I wasn't physically big, which was something that I had thrown at me a number of times through my career, but I didn't feel that I wasn't strong enough to play in those positions. I didn't mind the physical stuff. Didn't get really too many serious injuries through knocks or broken bones to facial injuries and that sort of stuff. So I sort of think of myself more as I was never a overly talented player as far as having finesse, or I really wasn't a good kicker on my left side. But I sort of valued myself to be able to deliver the ball to my teammate. Was one of the most significant things that I stuck with. Was no good winning the ball 10 times and turning it over 8. I'd rather get it 5 and give it to my teammate 5 times. So what other people view of me was possibly over the years of some people didn't think that I was big enough to do the things that I did, but I think I just stuck hard at it, and that's the way I played my football. I just stuck at it and did what I had to do. Yeah, the '79 grand final was probably one of the real big disappointments for the club and for the players as well. I mean, we did it the hard way in the end, coming through the preliminary final and getting back to have another crack at Coburg, and we dominated for most of the day. But when it come to the crunch of actually nailing it, there were some vital chances that we let slip, you know. And when you look around the group of players we had, that that's probably one thing. The pain still sticks with everybody after all this time. I know it does with myself, because I remember late in that game where we were sort of trying to just hold it up a little bit, and it shouldn't have been much time to go, and we kicked the ball down onto our half forward line, and somehow or other that spilled across into about our centre half forward, and their player picked the ball up and kicked it over the top, and I was playing alongside Johnny Friend at centre half back, and the ball went over our heads, and I can remember John looking at me and I'm looking at him, and he's telling me with his eyes that I'm not going to get him, so you're going to have to chase him. So unbeknownst to us, their full forward Smith had come onto the ground, and the ball spilled over the back, and he picked it up, and he had open space between him and the goals, and it just seemed to be where I was chasing him, and I thought, I haven't got a hope. But then he fumbled the ball, and although I'm in with a bit of a chance, and but the goals came too quick, and he ended up getting that. And I think there's a number of things in the game that were disappointing for us, but overall, you know, if you don't take your chances, well, you can look back later on and you can see why, but that's why you look at football, and sometimes things can come back to bite you, and it did on that day with us.
You've given your heart to get here. soul to get it right. You can take 'em boots and all, but it's sure gonna take a fight. When you spend all week getting to your peak, you're gonna have your say. You bet. On Sunday, it's gonna be a fight. It's Sunday, you're gonna make your play for the BFA. Today you're gonna fly. It's Sunday for the BFA. It's Sunday.